tell me your name and a little bit about yourself, please?
I'm Lauren Cross. I lived in shared accommodation. I used to live in Bicester and I moved to Banbury. I now have a partner and a little baby.
I'm Steph. I lived in Bicester as well. And I moved to Banbury when I was 16. And I lived in Banbury foyer for about 18 months. Lived in a housing association for young people in Bicester for a few months. And now I've got my own council flat in Banbury.
What has been your experience of accessing social housing in this area?
It's quite a lot of,
Paperwork?
yeah, there is a lot of paperwork, there's a lot going through the council, but mainly BIP, they're a good provider to help you out with lots of housing needs. You come here and they can refer you to anywhere, can't they?
Yeah. It is quite hard. You can't obviously get like your own council accommodation or whatever until you're 18. So like when I moved out when I was 16, you have to go like
Through all the housing
associations, you have to, wait quite a while. But, like Lauren said, BIP's brilliant, if you ever need any help at all, whatever it is, with housing, with work, with whatever, come down to BIP and, they'll sort it basically. So, quite good.
Hey, can you tell me a little bit about your experience of the private renting sector?
That's probably me because I'm in private rented. It's very hard to get into, mainly because I've now got a place, which is £500 a month, but I ended up having to pay £2,000 in fees beforehand. And if anybody expects someone who's homeless from the age of 16 to be able to afford that much money to be able to get an actual place, it's just quite really hard. But a lot of people don't really want to go down the council route. So
I feel council's more like, if you're working and you're in private renting and you lose your house, and you lose your job, you could lose your house. And I feel more like stable in a council house because when I got my council house, I wasn't working, but my rent was paid by the council. Now that I'm working, I can pay it myself. But whether you're working or not, at least you're stable in a council accommodation if you stick to the tenancy.
Whereas I've never had any problems with that because I'm working for the last year and a half. So
yeah,
it all depends on your own stability. But I'd say the private rent is extremely hard to get into. Luckily, I had family that helped me out with my deposits and my estate agent fees.
What housing advice could you give to other young people in similar circumstances?
Best advice would be come down to Family on Homes Project. They know a lot better about the benefit route, about what you can afford, budgeting, and also the type of accommodation which is good for you. Because there's like the high sector, which is the foyer, and the low sector, which is the Stonham and Gateway, with a lot lower support needs.
Yeah.
You only have meetings. It's not accommodation where you have staff there all the time. You have your own place. And you meet with staff once every 2 weeks. It's just a lot more independent, and it's for a lot lower needs. Whereas places like the foyer, you've constantly got staff on hand. You have meetings, a lot of meetings every week.
I think the foyer is better than Stonham or Gateway because the foyer, they've got their lessons that they do. Like the they have the college
like
people
job
come
club,
in, and you can actually get qualifications if you don't want to go to college or if you can't get into college. They have people come in from college, and you'll do a course while you're in the foyer, and you'll get qualifications that way. But if you ever get into like council accommodation or young people's foyer or whatever, you need to stick to the rules, and you need to stand by the tenancy and not get dragged into the mess. Yeah, because in the foyer, especially a couple of years ago when I lived in, there was drinking, there was drug taking, and it is really easy to get swamped into it, and then it's harder to get out of it. So you need to stick by the rules and stuff. You just need to keep your head
down.
Just get on with it.
How would you advise governments to address the housing issues?
Make it a lot more accessible for people who want to work that can't actually afford it due to housing. Places like the foyer, if you're working whilst you're in the foyer, you have to pay,
£500 or £600 a month. I was working full time in the foyer,
you pay a lot more,
and
and
it
it's
was
not
£600
worth
a
it.
month. And then you've got to pay council tax and your electric and your food and stuff like that. And it's just ridiculous. It's not affordable at all.
Yeah.
But I think the government talks a lot about housing, but I don't think they really go out there and talk to young people, go and visit young people's places or anything like that. They need to get out there and actually go and see it. And then
It's not a motive to work, is it? Because
no, it's
what's the
not.
point in working when everything, all your hard work just goes straight, just completely goes?
I mean, I work, like I said, 40 hours a week, and I'm on minimum wage, and everything, all my money goes on rent, on council tax.
You're struggling, so what's the point of struggling
and
when
it's
whilst working at
ridiculous.
the same time?
I was much better off on benefits, but then, you know.
You want to try and get out the whole benefits route, don't you?
Yeah.
And try and get your life sorted.
So, I think the government needs to actually go out there, like physically go out to places
And
look
actually
at
see
them.
people's situations.
Yeah.
It's the best thing to do. That's our advice to the government.